You know, one of the big questions moving around fan communities right now, particularly sci-fi and genre, is where's Star Wars? I mean, yeah, we've got Andor going on right now, which is the best series they've ever had. And I know that's controversial for some, but to me, Andor is even better than Mandalorian. It is Star Wars for grown-ups. I freaking love this show. Not quite on House of the Dragon level, but it's absolutely utter amazing. But Star Wars, its home is the big screen. Its home is the movie. Star Wars is a movie franchise. And the question has been, where are the movies? Now, they stubbed their toes a little bit. They had a box office failure in Solo, which is really too bad because Solo actually ended up being a pretty good movie, but it was a completely unnecessary movie. So that one flopped, that stubbed their toe. And then, of course, The Rise of Skywalker. Well, don't even get me started on The Rise of Skywalker. And I say that as a fan, generally as a fan of what Disney has done with Star Wars. But The Rise of Skywalker, yeah, no good. So anyway, so they got a little bit trigger shy on that, and understandably, they decided to slow things down a bit. That's fine. But it's been 3 years, and we have no official word of any new project on the books. A lot of, Kevin Feige's going to do one. Okay, great. That's still theoretical. They say the Patty Jenkins thing is still happening. Okay, I'll believe that when I see it. They say Rian Johnson's still working on his trilogy. I don't buy that for a second. And a bunch of other things. Well, now we got our first close to concrete news about a future Star Wars movie. And that is one of the co-creators of Lost, the showrunner of the Watchmen series, Damon Lindelof, is doing a Star Wars movie. And they brought on, and I always mispronounce her name, but Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy, who was one of the directors of Ms. Marvel. And you guys know what I thought of Ms. Marvel. I thought it was the second best thing Disney's ever put out on Disney+. I love that thing. And they've got her actually attached to direct. This comes to us from Variety, who wrote the following. Damon Lindelof is going to a galaxy far, far away, or at least he's well on his way there. The co-creator of Lost and Emmy-winning executive producer of Watchmen is developing a new Star Wars movie for Lucasfilm. The top secret project already has a director warming up in their hyperdrive. Oscar winner and Ms. Marvel helmer Shireen Obaid-Chinoy is in talks to direct. Now, of course, Damon Lindelof has got several Emmys on his counter. He's a little bit of a divisive figure for some people. I mean, there's no denying his highs are incredibly high. He's had some lows too, just like any creator in Hollywood. This to me is interesting. I like this. If nothing else, it actually shows me that Disney is at least keeping their eye on getting Star Wars back on the big screen. So I'm excited about that. I think what Lindelof did with Watchmen was phenomenal. Like, honestly, this is going to be a divisive thing to say. The Watchmen series kicked the living shit out of the Watchmen movie. In my opinion, it just beat the living shit out of that. I'm not a big fan of the Watchmen movie, to be honest with you. I didn't think it was a very good adaptation. But that being said, he's not my favorite writer in the world, but this is at least intriguing. Anyway, Chris, you hear about this. Lindelof trying to develop a movie. You got an Oscar-winning director who has worked on Ms. Marvel as well, directing it. How does this strike you initially? I'm excited about this team up. I'm interested to see what Rob has to say, but I'm really excited. I was a really big fan, not only of I'll give you a spoiler. Yep. Rob hates anybody connected with any new Star Trek. So I'm just Rob and I haven't even talked about this, but I'm just going to give you a spoiler right now. But, so please continue. I also really enjoyed The Watchmen, and the movie was it was so weird in that it was a frame by frame, like it looked like they used the comic as a storyboard, but it just didn't translate well, right? There wasn't the heart that it needed to have in there. Whereas the series took some really, really interesting swings, and I really enjoyed it. I also really loved The Leftovers. I thought that show was just phenomenal. I never did try The Leftovers, but I know a lot of people who actually really quite liked it. I feel like with your background, you would find it very, very interesting, just from a theological standpoint. Now, a lot of people have told me that. It's really, really fascinating. So I'm excited to see what kind of thing we do then within the Star Wars realm, because, we've seen what you can do when you play in the sandbox, but take things to different genres, right? So I think it'd be really, really cool to do something that is maybe a little bit more heady, maybe is something that's a bit more existential, and we explore maybe religious tones or something of that nature. I think that could be really, really cool in this. It just depends on the execution. Something else he worked on that was considered more heady and stuff like that I actually wasn't a big fan of, but a lot of people did, was Prometheus. I may not love Prometheus. I'm not a big fan of Prometheus, but I know a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of you guys always tell me how much they love it. So there's that too. Weird movie. Anyway, Rob, you hate this. Why?
Okay, I don't hate it.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month. And now for the plot twist. I'm just kidding. There isn't one. Mint Mobile just has premium wireless from $15 a month. There's no trapping you into a 2-year contract or opening the bill to find all these crazy fees. There's no luring you in with free subscriptions to streaming services that you'll forget to cancel and be charged full price for. With my old wireless provider, every month when I opened the bill, it was like playing roulette. I never knew how big the bill was going to be, and it always seemed to get bigger. With Mint Mobile, it's totally different. I know exactly how little I'm paying every month, and there's never any surprises. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or a family. And at Mint Mobile, families start at just 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And guys, you get to use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. So transferring over couldn't be easier. So to get premium wireless from just $15 a month and no unexpected plot twists, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. You'll make your wallet very happy at mintmobile.com/Campea.
Okay, although I kind of do. Damon Lindelof, if you look at his genre credits at the feature film level, Tomorrowland, Prometheus, Star Trek Into Darkness, Cowboys and Aliens.
Now, of course, there were 43 writers on Cowboys and Aliens.
Yes.
Cowboys and
there's
Aliens.
a lot of
Nightmare.
quote-unquote writers on Cowboys and Aliens.
And you have a director that's done a couple episodes of TV and some Academy Award and Emmy-winning documentary shorts.
But as Kevin Feige always said, like when he picked James Gunn, good storyteller's a good storyteller.
I understand that, but here's the thing about Star Wars. I would love to see Star Wars have some veteran. We've seen it with Andor. Tony Gilroy, Academy Award-winning screenwriter and a great director, auteur. His brother, who's writing episodes, Dan Gilroy, a feature filmmaker, also a auteur, writer-director. Both of them, one's a showrunner. Their brother John's editing the show. I would rather than see people that have made it in TV jump over to feature films. I'd rather see more feature filmmakers come back and work in feature films. And Lindelof, to me, has a very hit and miss. Like, I am not a fan of what he did with Prometheus. In my mind, he diminished what it was. I understand why they hired him and they brought him in late in the process to rewrite the script. I get it, but I think everything dumb about Prometheus, he added to it. And if you watch the incredible 4.5-hour documentary that's on that Blu-ray set, you can see where the movie went awry. I mean, you can literally watch it happen. And I think Lindelof, and of course, he wrote Star Trek Into Darkness, which is a pretty dunder-headed, not just because it's Star Trek, but just in general. The plotting is it's not great. I don't, and his mystery box, he comes out of the J.J. Abrams mystery box school of storytelling. Leftovers is really intriguing, but it's based on a novel that he didn't write.
That's fair.
You know, and I thought they really stuck the landing on that show. The last episode of that show is, I think, deeply affecting. Oh, the second season's pretty gobbledygooky.
That's fair.
You know, but there's a lot of like in it. So he's very hit and miss, I think. And Watchmen, I didn't hate. I love the Watchmen. I love the Watchmen comic, and it was a sequel to the comic. There's some really intriguing ideas in that show, and you know, he was the creator of it. So I don't hate that, but these two people, I just wondered, do they have enough together to make a great Star Wars movie?
I go back again to like what Disney's done in Marvel. And again, back to the whole Kevin Feige thing when I asked him about why did you get James Gunn to direct Guardians? He's never directed anything on this level or anything like this before. And he just straight up said, you know, because a good storyteller is a good storyteller. And when you look at staying with Disney for a second, again, the guys who directed Captain America Winter Soldier did episodes of, what was it, Community? Did Community, right? And You, Me, and Dupree.
Which was a feature film.
Which was a feature film that I hated. But,
right.
but you know, not everybody does. It's got its fans. So, like, at least I sit down and I look at, okay, they got somebody with, I think, 3 Emmys, somebody with 2 Oscars. I mean, and I look at the stuff like, do they have hit and misses?
For
Absolutely.
documentaries.
Yeah, but whatever. Like, somebody who knows how to sit down and tell a story. I mean, to me, that's it. And then the work she did on Ms. Marvel, I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I see a lot to be now. Again, this could turn out to be a mess, but we've seen great movies come with much more questionable additions to who they were going to have write and direct it that turned out to be incredibly huge fan favorites. So I'm excited about this. It may turn out to be a disaster. It might.
There might be a smoke monster in it, though.
There could be. Ooh.
I just think though
Hopefully.
that the 2 hour, the paradigm of making movies is different in where you have a director who is the center of the decision making. Whereas television, it's the showrunners that are.
Yeah.
And I would love to see, I mean, maybe we
But that makes us a good pair. I mean,
Yeah,
theoretically, that makes us a pretty good pair.
I just wonder if they're ever going to actually pull the trigger on any of these projects.
Well, see, that's the bigger question, right? It's like, okay, we're talking about another Star Wars movie. Where the hell is a Star Wars movie? We've talked all about, Kevin Feige's moving. Oh, and he's got this writer on it. Okay, great. And Taika Waititi's doing his. Okay, great. Okay, that's fine. And I think this is good news. But I'm also to the point where I'm tired about hearing about maybe projects. It's time to actually start making.
It
some
also
of this
shows
concrete.
there's a little indecisiveness at the top.
A little?
Well,
A little?
I was being nice.
You being restrained?
I just think that, do they know what they're going to do with Star Wars? It's worrisome to think, as let's say I was a Disney investor, I would look at Star Wars as a cinematic property. Even the Rise of Skywalker, other than Marvel movies, those Star Wars movies grossed $1 billion.
Yes, a lot
One
of
grossed
money.
2, one grossed 1.3, one grossed a little less. Those are huge money makers. Why have they been benched? I mean, as an investor, I would ask the question. I understand you can look at Solo and say that underperformed. That's one. Rogue One made $1 billion. Why are you not making Star Wars movies?
I mean, I get it.
Who's
I
scared?
even applaud the idea that, hey, once you've had hiccups,
Yeah.
to say, okay, well, let's take our foot off the gas. Let's take a step back. Let's take a breath. I respect that. Actually, I applaud that. It was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And we still have no official moving. Anyway, time to move forward. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I actually think this is an intriguing combination, very reminiscent of the way Kevin Feige's put some of his Marvel movies together, but it'll all depend on what you think of the track records of the individual people. So in general, what do you think about this? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.